Here we are, day 666,666 of this lockdown. And people seem to forget it's a lockdown, especially those rioters that are rioting all over the place in various cities. That started in Minneapolis. These riots started, of course, from the death of George Floyd. He was a black man who allegedly tried to buy some food at a deli with a counterfeit $20 bill. The cops come, the pigs, these aren't cops, first off. If you wanted, I make the distinction between cops and pigs. Cops are police officers who respect your constitutional rights, who are not gonna force their way into your car without a warrant or your house without a warrant. Pigs, however, have no respect for your constitutional rights. Pigs are the same people that force their way in your car to search for whatever, probably drugs or something, or force your way into their house without a warrant, or break into your car and stick a canine on you, which I've seen happen, or pull you out of a car and throw you to the ground, put your knee on your neck, and in George Floyd's case, kill you. This is not the first time something like this has happened. I've seen the Eric Gardner case back in 2014. Some guy was bad-mouthing the cop, and the cop didn't arrest him. I watched the video. The cops literally snuck up behind this big, it's like 6'7", big black dude. Went up behind him and choked him to death, literally, and it was caught on camera. Not only did this pig get off, but the New York City prosecutor's office, the DA, refused to charge him, so they punted it to the federal authorities. And Bill Barr and the Justice Department were like, nope, we ain't touching it. I think the miscarriage of justice comes from the New York City DA's office. They recently put a bunch of Proud Boy members in jail for 4 years for defending themselves against radical violent thug group Antifa. So if you defend yourselves against Antifa, you go to jail for 4 years. But if you kill a black man right on videotape, you don't get nothing. Again, but these pigs came, threw this guy out of his car. One of the officers put his knee on his neck and would not let him up. On the video, you can hear George Floyd saying, I'm breathing, I can't breathe, you're going to kill me, please, I can't breathe. And he died. And the fucking pig still wouldn't let his knee on his neck. The paramedics came, checked his pulse, realized he was dead, and the guy was still holding him down. That is murder. That is complete and utter murder. I wouldn't say first degree, I would say second degree murder. Although the prosecutors appear to be going for a manslaughter charge, which I think is a bit underkill. I think the Trayvon Martin case was a manslaughter charge because Trayvon Martin basically got in a fight with a very nosy neighborhood watchman named George Zimmerman, who seen some shady figure in a hood walk down the street in the middle of the night. Automatically took it upon himself to go and follow him. Gets in a fight with him. When Trayvon Martin starts apparently kicking George Zimmerman's ass, he pulls out a gun and kills him. That to me was manslaughter. Two people get into a fight. One of them dies. The other one should be charged with manslaughter. Just like as if I got in a bar fight. If I get in a bar fight, knock someone out, they fall to the ground, hit their head on the ground, crack their skull, they die. Yeah, I didn't mean to kill him. I was just punching him in the face, but that's manslaughter. You know, either way, if I got in a fight and someone dies while fist fighting me, even if I didn't use a weapon, that's manslaughter. Trayvon Martin George Zimmerman should have been tried for manslaughter. But instead, the overzealous prosecutor went after a second-degree murder charge, and that's how George Zimmerman got off, in my opinion. This is the opposite. I believe what we see on videotape, is second-degree murder. I wouldn't say first-degree murder, because you would have to prove that he premeditated it. But there is articles coming out now, especially from the Gateway Pundit, that state that both Derek Chauvin, the officer who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd, and George Floyd, both worked at the same nightclub. I guess the cop was moonlighting and had a night job as a nightclub as a security officer, and George Floyd was, I guess a bouncer, and they both worked there. Maybe they had a personal vendetta. Well, if they had a personal vendetta against each other for whatever reason, then maybe you might have a first-degree murder charge. If he had, maybe he's seen someone he worked with that he didn't like, and then he puts his knee on his neck, yeah, that might be but as of right now, I think that should be a second-degree murder charge. And there was no way in hell this pig was going to get away with this scot-free. There was so much backlash. 3/4 of the Trump supporters were on the side of seeing this pig fry and go to prison. So no, these cops that did it weren't going to get away with scot-free. But that didn't stop all the Black Lives Matter protesters and all these people from rioting. They started rioting in Minneapolis, the city where it happened, Wednesday night. They raided a Target, looted it, beat up a couple white people, burnt down an AutoZone. All the show. All in the memory of George Floyd, to help him out somehow. Yeah, like nothing, because nothing says honor, we love this man, or this man was unjustly murdered, like people looting, raiding, and burning a city. Nothing says an injustice of nothing honors a memory of a man who was wrongfully murdered by police than a giant riot that destroys probably a neighborhood he lived in. Nothing says black people are oppressed like destroying black neighborhoods. This is the worst part is the leftists are actually justifying this bullshit. All these self-righteous, self-loathing crackers, these fucking white liberals, are now cheering on these fucking riots. These people are cheering on the riots. Of course, it's not their neighborhoods getting ransacked. It's not their, stores, the stores in their neighborhood being burned or looted. It's not their houses being burned and looted. It's not their communities that are being terrorized. Want to talk about privilege? Privilege is rooting for black neighborhoods could be destroyed and terrorized and looted while you live safe in your neighborhood. That's real privilege, but again, I digress. We have all these self-loving crackers cheering these riots on. These riots started in Minneapolis, and it continued a few nights in a row. And then they spread to other cities. Last night there was one in D.C., there's a few in New York, one in Columbus, I believe, one in Louisville, and a few other cities. Which is weird because none of these people are social distancing. What happened to the pandemic? Everyone's rioting. What happened to the social distancing? Oh, well, they're giving out masks so the cameras can't catch the rioters. But as we all know, it's not really that. It's because, it's prevent the spread of COVID-19 while you're rioting. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, CNN is such fake news. You literally had a CNN reporter say that this riot is getting out of hand. Meanwhile, there's a building burning right behind him as he's saying that. Talk about fake fucking news. When your own footage behind you contradicts the bullshit coming out of your mouth, you're fake news. But CNN got what was served to them because the rioters in Atlanta went up and literally damaged CNN's building, which is great. I find hilarious. CNN, talk about karma, talk about your race-baiting, hate-mongering coming back to bite you in the ass. The rioters took to the streets and started to destroy the CNN building, and I loved it because CNN got what it deserved. Live by race baiting, die by race baiting. The chickens have come home to roost. And CNN, well, it gets its own shit thrown right back at them, and good. But let's be honest here. This riot is not about George Floyd. I think no one on either side is saying this. This riot is basically being about being locked down for the past 3 months. These people are rioting, all live in the cities. They're all locked in their apartments. And no one's saying anything about them not socially distancing, not, staying on lockdown. In fact, they're backhandedly being encouraged to not just go out and protest and and disobey the social distancing guidelines and disobey the lockdown orders. They're being encouraged to go out and protest, and not just protest, riot. They're being encouraged to riot. The mayors of these cities who would arrest people for opening up businesses are now letting these people destroy the businesses, destroy the cities, destroy, riot, loot, plunder, and create terror and create chaos. They're actually being green-lighted to do this. These same mayors that would arrest you for being outside or not wearing a mask are allowing these people to loot and destroy these communities. So when people say this, they might be like, oh, well, we could get out and do something. So what I think is they're not really so mad about George Floyd dying. They're actually releasing their frustrations that have been penned up from this lockdown. It's really their frustrations against this lockdown is what's probably provoking these riots. The George Floyd murder is just the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, they're probably upset about George Floyd, but this has been penned up building for months. From being locked down, from being told you had to wear a mask, from being told by every single celebrity to wash your fucking hands every 30 seconds, to being told that you couldn't go here, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Then you have to sit home and see a pig murder a black dude. And another thing, I don't think it's racism. I think that pig could have just as easily murdered a white girl, a Chinese man, a Hispanic man, and yes, even a white man. I think these, as I said, some cops are pigs and they disrespect people equally. They don't see race. They see people that wear badges and people that don't. If you don't wear a badge, you disrespect them. They're going to be pigs to you. They might even kill you. And they don't care about your race. I don't think it's a race issue. I think these people are some of these bad apples in the police departments are just pigs. And they'll look for any excuse they can to throw their way around and bullying the citizenry. And this citizen that they bullied just so happened to die and was caught on videotape. So I don't think it's a race issue, but you see these people, and keep in mind there's a lot of self-loathing white people that are in these protests too. They're joining. So you have all these city people who have been, forced in their apartments for months, have all this, pent up frustration and anger from being locked down for several months. Then they see a pig murder an innocent man caught on videotape, and that just gives them an excuse to break out and riot and crash. Again, most of the frustration is probably coming from the lockdown. Seeing the guy get murdered by pigs is just the straw that broke the camel's back. They're not going to come out and say, oh, we're really pissed off about the lockdown and the measures to prevent COVID-19, but that you have to admit that is part of it. The fact that people have been pinned up for so long and they just want to get out and do something. So, hey, not only do they have a reason to riot because a reason to protest, but they're the same people that locked them down are now giving them the green light not just to protest, but to riot and break shit and destroy the cities. So they're frustrated. They go out. They see this guy get killed. Then they go out and completely just ransack the city. And the same governors that locked them down, are not just encouraging them to protest, but encouraging them to riot and destroy the city. So you have all these leftist people saying this is a race issue and black people need to rebel. The left has gone off the fucking deep end. They are a few steps away from literally advocating black people or people of color, which is a bullshit term I refuse to use because it's just basically a catch-all for all non-white people. And they're claiming that we should. They're a few seconds away from claiming that people of color have the right to kill all white people, or kill any white person, or kill any white person that looks them the wrong way, or kill any racist, or steal from any racist, rob, rape, or kill any racist, rob, rape, kidnap, or kill any air fingers quote racist white person they see, and get away with it. I mean, you even had shit back in the 90s like that horrible John Grisham books coming in a movie, A Time to Kill, where, a guy gets, basically his daughter gets raped, he kills the people and gets off with insanity. That's the beginning of it. But you're literally going to see the left, feel, you're going to see the left almost advocate for white people to be raped, murdered, and robbed next. Oh, these poor, disadvantaged, non-white people. They should, and if you don't want to give up your home and everything you ever worked for them, you're privileged and you're a racist. So you need to, you should be robbed, raped, or murdered and tortured. The left is a few steps away from that because they're already advocating these riots. I mean, and with all the damage, let's be honest here, with all the damage that's been done, with the death of this man, with all the people that have been beat up, hurt, with all the millions of dollars of property damage done, with all the civil discourse from this country in the past few days from us, let's just be honest. It would have been a lot better, if the deli owner would have just accepted the counterfeit $20 bill and ate the $20. Let's be real here. It would have been a lot cheaper for him just to eat the $20.